So for part two, I'm going to go over Malachi's assignment. And I want to start by saying I think your overall concept is really good. I think there's been, I mean, I'm personally think teenagers are an interesting subject, but I also think that, you know, making work about something that's meaningful to you, and I'm getting the impression that this was something that you chose, maybe because it was accessible, but also because it was meaningful. And so to begin with, I think your subject matter is a good choice. I think that there are some ways in which technically and kind of how you've made the pictures, I think you could improve on it. So let me just tell you, I'm just looking through really quickly again to talk a little bit about what I think is successful and what I think could be worked on a little bit. So first of all, I think, you know, this one's actually relatively strong in terms of the colors are right, the exposure is pretty good, but it feels like, you know, it's kind of a one-off, like you were sitting in the driver's seat and you just took a picture of her. So one of the things I want all of you guys to do is think about photography as beyond the snapshot, taking several pictures and considering it and making it something more than just a snapshot. And so, you know, so is this an action shot? Is she like going somewhere? Why is she holding the lock? You know, there's just a few things that I think, you know, you could maybe, integrate a little bit more into the picture. All right, this one is the lighting is really problematic. It's totally like this reddish yellow. You're not using your white balance correctly. You must have the camera set in a certain way. So this is a problem. It's also like the angle that you're shooting from, you're shooting down on him and he's squishing down and you're down and it's really like uncomfortable, and in the framing it just doesn't feel like, it's not a pleasant picture to look at, and not pleasant, it's just kind of, I think people will be like, whatever. So think about the angle that you're using, and then these like hand gestures, which maybe could be interesting. I mean, maybe it could be a whole thing, but in this way that this is shot, it feels to me like just something, you know, just some snapshot that somebody's going to have on their phone of their friends. And, you know, the challenge of this class partly is to make pictures that are better than just, you know, friend snapshots. Similarly to the last one, the color's a little bit better on this one, but the angle is like, makes it hard to look at. I think that there's something interesting things going on, but the fact that it's tilted is like, you know, makes me dismiss it a little bit. It makes me not take it on board as much. So consider that with this, you know, and I know there's this like kind of teen album thing going on, so that may be something you can use, but at this point I feel like you're going to need to push it a little further for that to work. And then so this one has like this technical problem, which I've talked about to several of you about. This light in the background where our eye goes to the bright light, and you can see the light coming down on his hair. That's just like kind of making the picture kind of faint and hard to access. And then there's also like the door, you know, the doorway and the other light. So this just feels like, again, and then the angle and then the expression just makes me feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure why to care about this picture. I want to care about the people in it, and I think you care about the people in it, so I want you to go to that next place. Similarly, this one, you've got this light coming in through the trees and then kind of grazing over it, and it's preventing me from being as interested as I could. I think this guy has an interesting expression on his face. I'm interested in his t-shirt. I'm interested in why he's wearing this flowered robe. So there's a lot of potential there for me to be engaged. Like, you know, there's something kind of interesting happening, but I can't entirely access it. So the technical things are holding me back a little bit. And, you know, anyway, so I think you got to work on that. And so then this one, again, there's something, you know, okay, so she's got an interesting t-shirt on, there's records on the wall, there's things that are interesting, but you shot it at such an angle. You see how her legs look teeny? So it's a little bit of like a wide angle shot where her body looks huge and her legs look like teeny little, I don't know, legs. And so considering your own angle, and when we shoot with these like camera phones too, I'm assuming, phone cameras, I think we tend to not think about angle as much, and I think it's an important thing that you need to think about. So next time you shoot, move it around a little bit and look at it, and not make her look like a little, almost like a little, I don't know, thing with teeny legs. Also the glasses, paying attention to the glasses and how the glasses reflect and then they hide the eyes. I mean, that's just something to think about. Might be desirable. There is something about her gesture that's quite nice, the way she's holding her body. So there's some potential there. She's in the shower with her clothes on, kind of funny and interesting. But again, the color, you can see the tonality is kind of faint. You're going to want to bring out more of a contrast between her and the white. And also there's a red tint to the whole thing. So this one has a little bit more clarity, and it's partly because you've got this like illumination from the light, and then this like, you know, the background end of the day kind of light on the street. But again, you can see this has a somewhat of the same angle. So really think about the angle that you're shooting. This one, color-wise, is the best one of all in terms of color and contrast. And I would consider looking at this and think about what's working in terms of the tonality with this picture and the color, and it's got the right level of contrast. I'm sure as a picture, it looks like a picture of some kind of performance, and so I'm not clear exactly how it fits in with it. I mean, and I think these other ones of like individuals, like these four, are actually much more interesting conceptually, but this one technically is much stronger than the other ones. And similarly, you know, this one again has I feel a kind of intimacy. It's someone you're there with, but really paying attention to the light behind, and just like in general, you know, putting putting some more effort into this. It feels a little bit like, just feels a little bit like, you know, you need to take more pictures. You need to pay a little bit more attention to the lighting, more attention to taking several pictures, and more attention to the angle that you're shooting with. But I like your idea, and I'd like to see, and I think that you've picked some interesting people to photograph. So I think you could go back and do it and make it stronger work.